Hello, everybody. Welcome to our 2024 Vision Board Party. I'm so excited. We are going to go over how to make a vision board, why vision boards are important, how I use my vision boards, why they have helped me so much in my life. So, welcome, everybody. Vision Board Party. Woo woo. Here we go. So I had a hard time. I should have sent out an email today, and I am realizing that I did not do that, which I meant to do. I've been out of kind of out of routine, and so I didn't think about it. So I should have sent an email today out to the list, but hopefully those of you that remembered will be here today. But we are going to basically just walk through how to make a vision board, why it's important, how you can make one. I'll actually show you how to brainstorm, how to find photos, how to arrange your vision board, how to make a really easy one, and all that good stuff. So it's going to be super fun. Thank you so much for joining me. I cannot believe that we are just a few days away from 2024. I know that the older I get, it just seems the faster the years fly by, and I am ready for a new year. I'm ready to I feel like this next year is going to be a big transformational year for me because I was building a lot of foundations this year, and now it's time to kind of take those new habits and everything else and build on them. So sometimes this is where vision boards come in, is because it gives you a chance to clarify what is it I'm really trying to achieve in my life? How do I really want to feel in my life? What is it I want to do? How do I want to be? How do I want to show up? And so a lot of times I make vision boards just to clarify my own desires. And so we're going to definitely talk about that a little bit today as well. Yeah, so we'll talk about all the different ways because there's no one way to make a vision board. There's no one like right way or best way. And even if you are not a visual person and you work better with like affirmations and words or feelings or drawings, there are lots of different ways that you can make your vision board. So I'm going to be sharing my screen kind of off and on, and I'm going to be showing you a little bit of how I use vision boards. And we're going to talk, I guess we'll start with how or like what is a vision board in the first place, right? So oh, Rihanna, going to bed, happy new year. We're almost there, so we are going to talk first about like what is a vision board basically. So we'll see you later, Dee. Hope you have a good doctor's appointment. A vision board is really just a visual representation of your desires, and that's really all it is. And it doesn't have to be pictures. It can also be words, but anything that when you read it, your mind says, yes, that is what I want. Or when you look over these images, it's a confirmation and ideally brings up a feeling inside you that's like, yes, this is exactly what I want in my life. Like, oh, I can imagine when that becomes my life, or when I achieve that, or when I have that thing, it's going to feel this way in my life. And the more we can get ourselves sort of clear on what it is we're trying to achieve, or who we're trying to be, or how we want to feel in our lives, the better decisions we can make along the way. And if you have taken HB90 or Publish and Thrive, we talk about this a lot in the pre-work of the course, because for me, it's such a foundational thing to goal setting or embarking on any kind of entrepreneurial or creative journey, because it's a way to like the same way that you, when you're about to take a journey on vacation, most of us, there's probably going to be somebody that'll be like, that's the way I do it. But most of us have some idea of where it is we're going, right? We know what kind of weather it's going to be. We do a little bit of planning. We know what hotel we're staying in, or we know what flight we're getting on. We know or have mapped out the GPS. Like back in the days of MapQuest, you used to have to print out or get a map, like an actual big map, and figure out where in the world you're going because you didn't have GPS telling you. And that's the same thing that we're doing when we make a vision board is we're just saying, okay, I'm going on a journey to achieving something new, to being someone new in my life, to transforming or to achieving something. And so I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make my own map, my own GPS. And that's what these images, this feeling, these affirmations that you put on a vision board are doing for you is it's giving you that moment pre-trip, pre-2024 to stop and say, what is it I want my 2024 to look like? Or you don't have to make it for all of 2024. We'll kind of talk about that because there's no rules, right, on how to do a vision board. It's just a tool. So that's really what it is it's a map, a roadmap to how you want to feel or what you want to do in your life. It's a visual representation of what you're actually going for in your life. And that is why I say, ideally, the images or words that you choose to put on your vision board will be something that makes you feel good, that makes you feel something happy, or makes you feel satisfied, or it makes you feel a sense of longing, like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for that to be my life. Because we want to make sure that the images we choose, that the direction that we choose, the clarity that we choose becomes something that we actually make decisions based on what it is we want. So what I mean by that is when we start planning for what goals we want to hit in 2024, and then we make it, let's say, a month in, and we already feel behind or we feel like things aren't going the way that we wanted them to, we can look at the vision board and we can tweak it. We can like bring back those feelings, recenter ourselves and say, okay, this is why I'm doing this hard work. Because most of us are setting goals that we don't like in terms of long-term yearly goals, 3-year goals, all of that, lifetime goals. You know, there's a lot of ups and downs. So there's going to be moments where we have achievements and milestones. And then there's going to be a lot of time where we're just sitting at our desk writing, or we're just doing the hard thing that we need to do. And sometimes that vision board can be the motivation that you look up. You know, if you have it at your desk and you look up and you see that vision board that has you, an example of someone sitting there with a stack of books and they're signing them, and you say, that's okay, that's my future. That's the roadmap. All I have to do is finish this book and the next one and the next one, and I'm going to hit that life. And so it becomes motivational. It becomes a roadmap so that when we say, oh gosh, you know, this really new opportunity came up to take this new job, you can look at your vision board and you can use it as a tool to say, is this the life I want? Or do I want to take this detour to a different kind of job? Like, let's say you were writing, but you just are in the trenches and you can't get an agent. And then someone offers you this job at a publishing house to publish other people's books and be an editor. That might not have been on your vision board. So it gives you sort of a way to focus your mind in. Because sometimes when we're just trying to think of things in our brain, it's like our thoughts can get really slippery. And so when we have a focus tool like a vision board, it can be something that we can look at and we can sort of place ourselves into that life and say, this is the life I thought I wanted. And we can look at that picture of someone standing there with their holding their book, or someone signing books. And we can say, am I willing to give that up to try going on this other life, to take this other job that I won't be able to be a writer? Am I ready to give up on this? Or when I look at that image, do I just know in my heart that I can't give this up because this is what I've always wanted, right? And so that in that way, it can be such a great tool to help us really excavate our own desires. It can also be a tool for your subconscious mind to say, I believe that this is possible for me. And in the future, this is what I'm working toward. And our subconscious minds can not really tell the difference between the present and the future and the past. It's just all neutral in terms of time. And so when it sees those things, it can go, oh, I believe this is where I'm headed, right? And it gives us that sort of rewiring of limiting beliefs and things that we've believed in the past. And when someone tells us, you're never going to be a writer, who do you think you are? You're going to be eating beans for the rest of your life, you know, or whatever. You can look at that image and you can say, no, I believe that this is the life that I'm heading toward. And it becomes that tool for subconscious, like rewiring of our own beliefs of what we're capable of. So I'm going to give you some tricks on that as well as we go. So that's kind of what a vision board is is there anybody here who has never made a vision board before? Just out of curiosity, if you're willing to say in the comments. I know I have subscriber only chat on. So I apologize if you're here and you're not a subscriber, but you can subscribe. And I think in 20 minutes or something, you'll be able to comment. So just out of curiosity, if no one's ever made it, I'd read oh gosh, that went up. I dusted off my old board and made a smaller one with supplemental, more precise goals. Now 2 are on the wall. I love it. So yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second. Oh, there's so many people that said I've never done it before. This is going to be so fun. Oh my goodness. Hello, hello. Yay. Okay. So we have potentially a dozen or more people that have never made one. So this is going to be really fun. I'm going to show you like super easy ways to do it that you can make it right here with me today. If you have like multiple tabs on your computer, if you have a phone and a tablet or whatever, it might be hard to do it on a phone if you're also watching the video, but maybe if you're good with your phone, you can do them both. Okay. So that's kind of what is a vision board. And that's like, what's the point of making a vision board? I like to put my vision boards in my planners on the wall. Like for me, they go everywhere. They become I don't actually have it as my screensaver right now, but I put a Christmas tree on there. But usually it's the screen paper, wallpaper on my screen. It's in my planners. So I have my new planner set up for 2024 with one of my vision boards. And then I have, I make vision boards for my stories as well. So sort of like aesthetics. So in my new like subscription planner, I have a vision board for a mirror of shadows. So you can print them out. You can put them in your planners. You can take them and put them like on your bathroom mirror. You can put them on your screensavers, like any way that you want. And what that can do is just be a constant reminder every time you open your phone. It's like, oh yeah, that's why I'm doing all this work. I'm so excited for that life. It's going to happen. And what is really cool is that over time, if you make a vision board, over time, you'll start to see those things coming true. And that can be so much fun because it's like looking back. I look back on some of my older vision boards. I'll show you a few today. And it's like, oh my gosh, that became my life. And every time that happens, that I see something that I put on a vision board in the past that is now my reality, it reminds me that everything I have on my new vision board is possible for me. And as somebody who used to be and kind of recovering perfectionist, recovering way too hard on myself kind of person, it's super, super encouraging and motivating to see that because it begins to bring up a more positive mindset of I have done it in the past and I can do it again. What size do you make the vision board to put it in a Happy Planner? So I'm using the Happy Planner Classic size. So what I do, it's exactly the same proportions as a letter size document. So I'll do 8.5 by 11 in Canva, and I'll show you, or in on my iPad, I'll show you both options. And then I just downsize it to 83% and print it at 83%. And that gives me the perfect size for my Happy Planner. For my A5 ring binder, when I used to do that, I would just go into Canva and make that. You can do a custom size, and I would make it, it's like 5.83 by 8.27 for that. So this is, so this is actually one of the tricks. I have that specifically written down, that if you put something on your vision board that's already true, it tells your subconscious mind, this is something I already have. So we're going to talk about some tricks like that. So some of it might get a little manifestation-y for those of you that are more pragmatic and that's not your thing. Just take what works for you and let the rest go. So it's all good. So we're going to talk a little bit about what kinds of vision boards you can make. First of all, number one, there's no rules. So you can make a vision board for just this upcoming quarter. You can make a vision board for all of 2024. You can make a vision board for your whole life, like things I just want to accomplish before I die. You can make a vision board for one specific topic. So you could say, I'm going to make a vision board just for this book that I'm working on right now, or just for my author career. or you can make a vision board that has everything that you want to accomplish, and you can put it into quadrants. So you could have, like, if you did 4 quadrants, you could say this one's career, this one's finances, this one's family, this one's health. And you could make a vision board like that with some kind of unifying theme in the middle. So there's really no rules. You can make it what some people started doing in HB90 is some of us set 3 goals. And so some people started making a different vision board for each goal. So for me, that would be one vision board specifically for my author career, one for my heart breathings career, and one for my like health, wellness, and family. And listen, I have made hundreds of vision boards. I'm futuristic and very visual. And so I like all the vision boards. And for those of you that said you've never made one before, just wait, because you might get addicted to it after today, especially once you see how easy it is to make them. So those are the types of vision boards. There's literally, in terms of what you can make them for. Now, how do you make one? Now, back in the day, people always used to make them using magazines. So let me just kind of show you. So this is my iPad screen here. So you can see, like, up here, I just pulled this image from Google. This is not my image, but people used to sit down, and I did this. Let me know in the comments if you did this in the past before, or if you still do this, where you would make a vision board by basically just taking a bunch of magazines and finding photos in the magazines, like beauty magazines, home and garden magazines, just everything you can imagine, and pasting them in on like a cardboard poster board or something like that. Another, yes, did it when I was a teenager, did it, oh my gosh, still doing magazines for mine. Yes. So some people prefer that sort of tactile experience of actually doing it. And if you like the idea of this, but magazines are not bringing up this, because you kind of have to rely on what are the images that happen to be in this magazine, which is more limiting than, you know, you have the entire internet at your disposal. So you could, if you wanted to actually paste things down, you could get just a poster board or something like that, or you could use your planner. So if you had a spread in your bullet journal or something like that, you could just paste things in for that. And you could either use magazines, or you can go on to Pinterest or Canva or any of the, like, in the description at the very bottom, I kind of gave you some places that you can get images from. And we'll talk about the legality of images in just a minute, but you can actually just print them out or have them printed and then cut them out if you have a printer at home. That could be one way. Another way is if you don't want to paste things in and you want to have a vision board that moves around more or is more flexible, you could do a cork board vision board, where you basically just get any size cork board and some pins, and you pin images, affirmations, photos, different things like that onto the cork board. And when you achieve something, you can move it off and put something new. Or if you have a new dream, you can move it off and put something new on there. So, oh my gosh, I love this. I'm just realizing that as a teenager, my walls were my vision board covered with magazine clippings. Yes, exactly. And we actually had wall in our house when I was growing up that my mom used to, like, decoupage, is that what you said? Like Mod Podge, different things onto the wall, mostly magazine clippings or paper, like paper, newspaper clippings from when we were in the newspaper and stuff like that. You did the corkboard version growing up and didn't even know it. Yeah, so that is a vision board too. It's just any type of collage, any type of collection of images. You can also just make a vision board in Pinterest. So I'm going to show you a couple more of the ones I made in GoodNotes on my iPad. So with all of these, let me see if I can grab the right thing. All of these little images you can see are movable. The thing about GoodNotes, if you're on an iPad though, that is a little bit more limiting than Canva, is that you can't order these in terms of layers. So, like, see how this image, when I click on it, comes to the forefront, and then when I click off of it, it goes behind those other images. If I decided that I wanted this image to be at the top, I can't just do like you can in Photoshop or Canva and say, bring this image forward. You have to actually, like, copy and paste the image and, like, delete it and then paste it, and now it will be at the top. So it's a more limiting in that way, because if now I wanted to change it back to the way it was, I mean, I can just go backwards, but if I wanted to change it back to the way it was and I didn't have the back button, I would have to take all of these other images that are on top of it and put, like, copy and paste those to go on top. I don't know if that makes sense, but I like making them in, oh Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me tell you Murphy's Law. Okay, let me give you a little bit of a warning. I have decided to redo my writing room office in bookshelves, not because I don't have enough bookshelves, but even these are starting to get too full. So I ordered a whole set of like 8 bookshelves from IKEA, and they're supposed to be delivered today, anytime from noon to 6. So of course they're getting delivered right now. I can just hear the truck backing up. So might be a little bit loud, but I will let George deal with that. So very exciting part of my new vision. You heard the truck. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, why does it have to be right now? Well, moving on, just be aware there might be some extra chaos and noise. But this is an example of a previous vision. So this house, which I will make bigger, this is what the house looked like that George and I had purchased to build in Charleston. And so I put that house, this was obviously, we never moved into that house. So I put this on my vision board. I had a vision of, it was going to have like a overhang in the back where you have a porch there. And so I was hoping that, I could have this little reading nook that you can see there. We weren't going to have room for a pool in the back. And so I had seen these things about stock pools in the back. And so I thought, oh, that would be so cool. We could make a little sanctuary. I also really wanted a black SUV. Now, this is a Jeep, but I was happy with any black SUV, which is now in my garage. I had idea of getting a Yorkie, which is still on my vision board, eating healthy, going on trips, going and staying at a nice like resort somewhere. So this was some of my vision from 2021, and my life has completely changed since then. But it's really still fun to go back and look at these and see like, hey, some of this did come true. This is an example here of a vision board that I made probably also back in 2021, maybe even 2020. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm still working on these 2 books. Sometimes vision boards can make you realize that you're behind where you wanted to be. But hey, look at this, 50,000 subscribers was a goal for Heart Breathings. And now I'm at 66,000 subscribers. I had 8,000 subscribers as a goal on my Sarra Cannon YouTube channel, and now it's over 10,000 subscribers. So some of this stuff has come true, but this is an example of one that was just specifically for my career. But when I look back on this and I see these numbers that I put on there, it's like, okay, that reaffirms to my subconscious and my own like belief system that I can do this. I've done it before. I can do it again. And some of these things are still in process. But if one of them is possible, the next one is possible too. Here's another example of a vision board that I made that year that you'll see some of those same images. So there's the same house, the same car, like some of those kinds of things, the tattoo that still hasn't come to be yet, but those might give you some examples of things that you can put on your vision board. So Elizabeth says here, should we put things on there that we believe to be possible? So this is really going to be something that's kind of up to you and your personality, but I'm going to give you some tips and tricks of what you can put on your vision board that I have found to be the most potent in terms of the way my brain thinks, but your brain may be different. Like we're all different. And so follow your own intuition with stuff like this. But one trick is, like Maple said, to put something on there that you already have. So putting a picture of yourself, like a picture of me with my kids, that is something that is already my reality. And I do try to put some kind of picture of something that is already true. Now, this one doesn't necessarily have anything that's already true other than these book covers were already set. But like EverQuest 2, for example, that's the game that I met my husband on. And so that image was a reminder that I want to play more video games, but I have played more video games in the past. And so that also can be kind of a mental trigger of saying like, oh, that's something that I already do. I already identify as this person who plays video games. And so it gives me that sort of extra level of belief, right? Here's another set of kind of examples of vision boards that I made inside my planner. So this is my digital planner from 2023 for HB90. And so you see how there's like some things on here, like my beautiful Demons book cover, working on audiobooks, getting onto Spotify. Some of these things are things I know I want to achieve. I already had booked tickets to go to Disney World. So some of these are things that are already mine. Having a career like Lee Bardugo and stacks of fat cash, like that doesn't, that's not necessarily my reality yet. I don't actually have a TV deal yet with HBO, but that is something that is like the two things kind of mixing together. Now, when it comes to, and I'll just kind of give you some examples too, because there's a place for a vision board in your HB90 planner. So I'll show you just some of the examples of how they kind of turned out. And you'll see some of the images are the same from quarter to quarter and some of them aren't. So here's another example. These books, come back. These books here, this image here, that's something that had already happened, is since shipping out books, but that still triggers in my brain that that's the kind of life that I want to live, right? Now, in terms of whether you should put things only that you believe to be possible, this is where I'll talk a little bit more about manifesting. So if this is not your thing, don't just ignore it. But I truly personally believe that if you want to make the most powerful vision board, that number one, it's things that you truly desire, not just things that you think you want or things that somebody told you should want. Like, don't put TikTok on here if you don't really care about TikTok, unless you're like really want, like I put YouTube on here because YouTube is super important to me. And I want to and believe that I can hit 100,000 subscribers someday. And so I will put that on there. Now I have days where I think, I don't know if I can ever hit 100K. But I do overall believe that it's possible for me. And so I put that on there, even though it feels like I can feel the gap between where I am and where I want to be. So we'll talk about that in just a second. The second thing is not just that you truly desire, but that you believe that you can have it. And if you have those two things, like I desire it and I believe that I can have it, I think it's more likely to come true, because it's more likely to trigger in your subconscious, this is something that I can have in my life. And so personally, I think that that is the best combination, is you truly desire it. It brings up feelings of something that you really want, that you really believe. And then also, in addition to that, it's something that you think you're capable of, that you think can be your reality, that when you close your eyes, you can picture what it would feel like to be in that life and be in that situation. And that will be the most powerful vision board you can create. Now, if in the example of YouTube, let me pull up my Q3 vision board for anybody who's just looking at examples. And they don't have to be this chaotic, by the way. Oh, there it goes. I'll show you some examples to make ones that are much cleaner if you're not someone who likes all the different collage look to things. But if you put, for example, YouTube, or you put a book sale number, like I want to sell 1 million books. And when you put that on your vision board, there's a part of you that's like, that's ridiculous. I've only sold 500 books my whole life. How am I ever going to sell 1 million books? And it makes you feel negative feelings. Then bring it back to something that feels more believable. So it may be that you say, okay, well then if I've sold 500 books so far, I'm going to put 1,000 books on my vision board instead of 1 million. 1,000 books sold feels more exciting to me because I feel like it's achievable. But maybe you say, well, 1,000 doesn't really feel that exciting because I think I'm going to hit that by the end of this year. So you might want to stretch it to 5,000, but maybe 5,000 is your sweet spot. And so I would keep playing around, especially with numbers or with images that evoke, like maybe your big goal someday is a house by the ocean, like literally on the ocean, but that doesn't feel doable to you right now because it just feels like that's going to be millions of dollars. And right now we can't even afford to move out of our apartment, right? So maybe you say, I'm going to put that ocean house on here, but in front of the ocean house, just beside it, I'm going to put the next level of just buying a small house, not by the ocean, maybe 5 or 10 miles from the ocean, that becomes kind of a stepping stone to that bigger life. Or if you said, okay, YouTube, I want 100,000 subscribers someday. You can see I didn't start with 100,000 on my vision board. I started with 50,000. And in fact, my very first vision board for YouTube just had 1,000 on it because that felt achievable, but it felt really big and exciting. And so you kind of want that mix between what is exciting and it feels like a stretch, but it feels really like, oh my gosh, I can imagine what my life will be like when I have that. Plus the addition of it, it feels like it is believable for me. It's exciting, but it's believable. And you'll see, I put I put pictures of myself on my vision board, which I realize some people might think is narcissistic or something, but I don't do it for narcissistic reasons. I do it to remind myself who I am and that I'm happy. And it does it for me, it subconsciously creates this trigger of like, there's me sitting next to this thing that I really want. Like, there's me with a picture of Amazon Prime Video. So maybe Amazon Prime is going to pick up my TV series someday. And so those kind of things become tips and tricks, putting yourself on there, putting your kids on there, putting vacations that you already have. So I did a vision board for the quarter, for every quarter of last year inside my Good Notes version of my vision board. And then I also do a yearly vision board, and I'll show you an example of mine. And these examples are all in Good Notes, which is an iPad app that you can use an Apple Pencil with. But like I said, it's not always the best way to make a vision board because it's not as drag and drop as you would find on Canva. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit in just a minute. So this is my kind of 2024 aesthetic vision board, which is pictures of me again on here. I want to get a new tattoo on my shoulder over here. It is like reminders of gaming. I've got the cherries on there. I've got the keyboard to remind me to write. The coffee here that says Life's Better Buzzed reminds me of the Accelerate trip that I went on last year. So again, that's a picture of something that has already happened in my life that I'm remembering how good it felt to have such amazing friends to hang out with, like business besties, and what it felt like to be on the beach. And I want to bring more of that into my life. And I want to call more like powerful people into my life that have big dreams. You've got the kind of like Apple Watch person who's walking more because I want to do more walking. And then this, I put quotes on mine as well. And so this is where you can also add, besides just images, you can add feelings. So anybody here not at all a visual person, like you would get a lot more out of just affirmations or words on your vision board, because I have definitely known people who just the images are not inspiring to them. What does help them are things like this word that says you can, or this is one that I've really been focused on lately. She quietly stepped out of the race she never wanted to be in, found her own lane, and proceeded to win, because this feeling of like proving myself to other people is like, that's not a race I ever wanted to be in. I don't want to be focused on numbers, right? I want to be focused on, how do I feel? How am I serving my audience? What connections do we have? And so like reminding myself of that as my priority is something that I really focus on, because it's like, oh, I don't have to compete with anybody. I can just be happy, and I'm allowed to just be happy with my numbers exactly as they are and with my community. And as long as I feel like I'm aligned, that's who I want to be. And that is good. That's good for me. What I want is already mine. That is another affirmation that I have, just to remind myself. Now, this one doesn't fully go against one of my rules, but I will say another rule that I usually follow when I'm making a vision board is nothing negative. So whenever you put certain words or phrases on your vision board, try to make them as positive as possible. So not things like get out of debt, but instead abundance, or money is overflowing in my bank account. Because the word debt can sometimes feel negative, right? And so you want to try to turn things on to the happiest side or the most positive side, just because your vision board should ideally make you feel good. But some people actually get more motivated by like the whip, like, okay, let me just like make myself hustle, like, and that's fine too. But this one, you are far too smart to be the only thing standing in your way. This is in my Notion board too, which is kind of is a negative thing. It's like positive because I'm too smart, but also like stop standing in your way. So this for me is not exactly breaking my rule, but a little bit. But I have like crystals on here and other things, and you can see I kind of played around with a different style this time, because what is neat about uh, GoodNotes and using an iPad, and I think now you can do this in Google Photos and stuff too. But it's not going to show it fully on the screen. But let's just say, for example, I've got this image of the crystals. If you are on an iPad, one option is you could say crop, and then you could do the crop that keeps it in a or in a rectangle, or you could freehand it and try to draw the lines around this if you wanted. And that turns out fine, but it's still, you got to go in and really make it detailed. But another thing you can do is go into photos on your app and pull up that same photo. And it's not going to show you exactly, but if you didn't know you could do this, I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to put it over the bowl, and it's going to make a little outline, and then the word copy is going to come up. Sadly, it doesn't show up on the share screen, but then once you've copied it, what it's done is it's removed the background, and then I can hover my finger over GoodNotes and then click paste, and you can see now that it has created a cleaner cutout of the background. If you don't have an Apple device, or if your Android device doesn't do this, I'm going to show you how to do it in Canva. Wouldn't we all like to have an overflowing bank account? I mean, yes, I would. Okay, so this is kind of interesting too. Mayor says, I'm super auditory. Some images speak to me, and then I like to add text. So if you're really auditory, there are a couple of ways that you can do kind of like a living vision board for yourself. So just to give people some examples, and then we're going to get into a bit of a tutorial of how to brainstorm your stuff. So what you could do is you could, like you said, add text to it, and you can actually read it out loud to yourself. So you see the image, but the image, like find an image that speaks to you, that makes you feel something. So let's say this bowl of amethysts made you feel abundant. So you could put on top of that, I am abundant and things are always working out for me. You could also take, for example, a photo of someone's, a big stack of books that you were going to sign. You could put your own book cover. You could take a picture of your books that you had and put them there. And then you can say, thousands of fans are dying to read my next book, whatever it might be. And you can actually read it to yourself when you look at those images. Another thing that you can do is, if it helps more to have someone else reading it to you instead of your own voice, is you could have a friend or someone in your life, your partner, your mom, your sister, whoever, that could read it out loud for you. And you could have a recording on your phone, so that when you look at your vision board, especially if it's a digital vision board, you can listen to them read it to you, which can also be really powerful. You can actually get your Alexa or Google device to read things out loud to you as well, like documents or whatever. So a lot of little ideas there for however you like work best, so to speak. So in GoodNotes, this will be the first kind of mini tutorial, but then we're going to talk about how to actually choose your images, just to show you. So I've got my Apple Pencil, and I go and I click on the image up here in this menu. I click on image, and it's going to bring up any image that I have saved to my camera roll. And then I can just take that image, like let's say one of my goals, which it is to have a nicely organized pantry. Now, I don't think that I'm going to put everything into plastic bins like this, but I do want to have an organized pantry where things are a little bit more labeled instead of chaotic. So one thing that I could put here is just putting this in the background, and then I could also pair it with text that says something along the lines of, my home is peaceful and organized. And that sort of affirmation or that way of wording it can be a trigger to my subconscious mind that my home does feel good and my home does feel peaceful. And as I begin to see that become reality, plus, sometimes when we get really busy, it can be easy to forget what we really wanted to do at the beginning of the year. And some of these things may seem simple. Like we set goals so often that are like, how many books am I going to sell? How many subscribers am I going to have over here? How much money am I going to make? But we forget that sometimes the simple things like organizing my pantry, getting a better system for my makeup or planners. You don't want to see my desk right now. I was cutting things out, so there's like scraps of paper everywhere. Having better systems or organizing your house might be something that can actually help you get more writing done, make more money, feel better in your daily lives. And sometimes that bit of cleaning or organizing can have more impact on the way you feel than your goal of selling 1 million books, which might take you 5 years to get there. So some things that are it's good to have some things, I think, on your vision board that are things that are reminders of what's most important in your daily life and not just the big milestones. But that's just my opinion. Should you match your vision board to your yearly goals? So like if I said publish 1 novel, should have 1 book on the board, or should I put 10 books, as in go over or shoot for the moon? I think it's up to you what kind of vision board you're making. So if you want to make a 2024 vision board and you want it to be focused on the things that you want to focus on just in 2024, then I would just put the 1 book, the 1 goal, like not necessarily shoot for the moon, but like think about what are your yearly goals. But if you want to make a vision board that will last you 3 years, 5 years, maybe the rest of your life, then you can shoot for the moon there and be thinking about or you could do a mixture. So you could have like quadrants. So if you wanted to, you could do a vision board where you had this side was the things that you wanted to accomplish in 2024, and this side was things that you're going for that are lifetime. Or you could mix those up. So like the background image could be the lifetime goal, and then the 1 book that you're doing this year could be just in front of it as like, okay, this is the long-term goal, but here's the thing I'm accomplishing in 2024. So like there's no rules. It's just really what you want to do. Okay, so let me stop that screen share. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to share my screen with all my images on it. And I'm going to double check. Yeah. Okay. I got all these cherries. Listen. Okay. So the danger of doing this, and I'll just go ahead and put it out there, is that I don't know what images Pinterest is going to bring up. So I'm going to search for some things on Pinterest, but if there's some not safe for work images that come up, please, we'll just try to move off of them as quickly as possible. So my phrase for next year is cherry on top. And I did a video about that if you're curious what that means. But if I wanted to, I could go on to Pinterest or any kind of image database and search for cherry imagery if I wanted to. Or if you have a word of the year, you could go and search for that word and then aesthetic or something like that. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of examples of what you can do and how to find pictures. So before I overwhelm you with all those images, I'm just going to pull myself up here for a second. So again, no rules on what type of images you can use on your board. It can be all affirmations and words. It could be images of things that are already in your home that are personal images to you. It could be just 3 images, 1 big image. There's no rules. So just kind of, I've shown you a lot of examples of collages. I'm going to show you some examples of much simpler ones that you can do as well. If you look in the description of this video, you're going to see a bunch. Let me pull it up here. This is my Google Doc for my YouTube videos. You're going to see a bunch of these poster size, wallpaper size, and desktop wallpaper size templates that you can use. And then I also have examples from mine that you can use as a template. If you like that collaged style, then I've got a phone example and a couple of desktop examples, and I'll show you how to use that in just a minute. But where did I go? Okay, where's my screen with myself? So you'll be able to pull those templates up, and I'll show you a little bit more about how to do that. But let's talk about before you can actually start making your vision board. you need to think about what images you are wanting to put on your board. So, first thing that I would recommend is decide what your board topic is, because once you start doing this, you're going to start to get addicted to, now I want to make one for my book. Now I want to make one for this. Oh, Augustina does say that Samsung prompts for sticker when you hold an image, so it'll pull out that background. And I'll show you how to do it in Canva for free as well. I don't know if it's free. Hopefully it's free. So decide first, what is the topic? Like, what is the sort of basket that you're creating? Is it for your whole life, like your really big lifetime goals? Is it just for one area of your life? So you could make one that's just health and fitness. You could make one that's just your writing career, one that's just for your family. Like when I was going through infertility, I can't even tell you how many boards I made that were for trying to have a baby, like just hundreds of them, because it was such a good like tool for hope for me. So you can have any specific thing. It could be one specific book. It could be like an aesthetic vision board for your book that you're currently writing. It could be maybe you're redoing your office and you want to do a vision board just for the office. So it can be really, really specific, or it can just be my life. So that's kind of the first thing that I would do is choose. So if you want to make one with me right now, go ahead and just kind of think, for my first vision board or for this one, do I want to, like, the topic, of course, is 2024 vision board. So we could start there and say, okay, we're going to make a vision board specifically for how I want to feel and what I want to accomplish in 2024. But you can choose anything you want. So that's the first step. The second step is to start brainstorming. And how you do this is going to depend on how you prefer to do things. So I'm going to give you a couple different examples. But what I like to do is I like to go ahead and make a list of the types of things that I am looking for in 2024. Because if I just say, let me go on Pinterest and start looking at images, I'm going to get overwhelmed by the billions of images that are out there. And so what I prefer to do is to go ahead and sort of narrow it down. So I'll say, okay, 2024 for me is all about getting back to my writing, starting a subscription, spending time with more of my friends and more gaming, less work, less hustle. Maybe I have a goal to hit 75,000 YouTube subscribers. So like I can start pulling out what are those goals. And you may not know 100%. So you might just want to write down a whole bunch of them. Like, okay, 2024, I want to get my house organized. I want to do this. For some of you, you've already done your HB90 plan for Q1. And so you already sort of know what your Q1 goals are, and you can extrapolate from there what your yearly goals might be. So let's do an example. Somebody in the comments, tell me what one of your 2024 goals or focus is. And I'll show you, I'm going to walk you through a process of how we could start a vision board based on that goal. So I'm going to wait for somebody to say, oh, I should take a drink. George keeps reminding me, are you drinking enough water? No. Okay. I'm going to write down a few of these. So cooking at home. So I like that one. A new office. So we've got self-care, slow, a peaceful life. So we can put like peace, self-care, and peace. And then maybe let's choose one more. New office can kind of get mixed in with organizing the house. Anybody with me on that, organizing the house? One goal I have is to get a Toyota Camry. Okay, so we'll put a new car on there too. Okay, so let's say I have a list here of I want to cook more at home. I want to read more. Somebody said a book a month. So that can kind of go into our self-care. Self-care and peace, less hustle. I want to organize my home and redecorate my office, and I want to buy a Toyota Camry. So if we said these are our goals, the first thing I personally do is I start on Pinterest. Now, a word of caution. if you're just using this, I feel like I have to say this, but if you're just using this for your own life, right? Like this is just, oh my gosh, I feel like I have to scan and just make sure there's no like weird images. Hopefully, get any weird images here. Um, if you are just doing this for your own life, you can use images from Google and Pinterest and whatever, just personal use, right? You're just going to put them in your planner and no one will know you have them, right? But if you're going to post it all over social media and your blog and you want to post it places that people will see it, like it's one thing to just have it on your wall and you take photos of your wall, but if you're going to actually like post it on your blog, then you need to use images that you can use professionally, especially if your blog is monetized in some way. So just always be aware that images from the internet are not always free to use. So I will just go ahead and put it there because we're all artists here and we want to make sure that we're on the up and up of how we're doing things. So if you want to share your vision board all over your Pinterest or your Instagram or, your blog or your YouTube channel or whatever, then you need to find images that you can use. There are some examples in the description of images you can use that are royalty free and free to use. So somebody said Pexels, that's one. There's freeimages.com or something like that. There's Unsplash. So there's lots of different ones that you can use. Many of us as writers also have deposit photos, like tons of images that we can use there. If you have the free version of Canva, then you can also use a lot of the images there royalty free. Pinterest, however, is a cesspool. I'm going to use Pinterest. However, I will just let you know that posting Pinterest pictures that you just took off someone else's blog is not really legal to use in your marketing for your own books. So we'll just, that'll be my little, that's my little disclaimer. But I'm going to use Pinterest and I'll just show you an example. So on my profile here, I have this one board called 2024 Aesthetic. And so I recommend if you're starting and you want to start and you want to use images from Pinterest, or you just want Pinterest to be your vision board, like this would be enough. You don't have to collage them and everything else. You could just keep all your images in a Pinterest vision board and then just revisit it every once in a while. The reason I like to put mine into collages because I like to place them into certain orders and I like to be able to print them out and put them in my planner and stuff like that. But you could just use Pinterest as your vision board. Obviously, when I started looking at this, I had some of the images that you've already seen from my vision board. There's a lot of focus here on walking and fitness. There's also some like kind of candles and ritualistic things, vacation images, some quotes images, Bookstagram, which is, I'm not starting a Bookstagram, but I like using Bookstagram inspiration for what I want to post on my own social media. So you can create your own board of aesthetic images or images that you want to pull up. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to go backwards and I'm just going to, how do I start a new board? I'm so used to doing this on my phone. So I'm going to start a new board and we'll call it Hardy's 2024. So you can start a brand new board. It's going to suggest who knows what. And we're going to go back out to home and we're going to start searching for some of those images. Now you can do this in Google. You can do this on Unsplash. You can do this on Canva. You don't have to do it on Pinterest. We're just using this as examples. So let's say we just look for a cooking aesthetic because we want to be cooking at home more. And so you could just literally find already tons of images. So if you were hoping to cook more at home because you want to cook for your family, you might pick an image like this that you could imagine that everybody's at your table. If you're just imagining yourself cooking more, something like this could be nice. And all you have to do is you can save it and it's going to suggest a board to save it to. So I'm going to say Hardy's. I want to save it to my Hardy's board. So I could save it. Or if you knew this was the one you wanted to use, you can just click on it and you can go ahead and download this image. Oops. If you like this image, but this isn't exactly the image that you love the most, you can actually click on that image. And when you scroll down, it's going to give you potentially more. I mean, it'll give you lots of different things based on your previous history, but it might give you more images of people in the kitchen. So like here's people eating together. Here's a grocery basket. Here's somebody shopping with, like, you can often find other people's vision boards on here for inspiration. So this one is a very clean, just 6 images. I live a healthy lifestyle. I decide how to feel and live. I deserve to live my best life. So there's nothing that says you can't just download this image and also use it for your own inspiration. But this is just one way to go ahead and start pulling up images. And like I said, it's up to you how much time you want to spend on this. I spend at least 10 or 15 minutes every night working on vision board and Pinterest stuff when I'm making a vision board, and I let it kind of culminate. But if you want to make one today, while we're on this, you might want to just choose the first image that sort of evokes, oh, look, here's me at the kitchen. I love this one. Let's download that image, right? And I did make a little vision board folder. So I'm saving all these images all together. So that's one that's like cooking aesthetic. The next one that we had was like organizing my home. So I'm going to type in organizing my house, and it's going to bring in tons of pictures, right? So what speaks to you? You guys already know I was all into this pantry, so I can download this image. I can also, if I want to save it so that I can reference it later, then I can come down here and I can say Hardee's 2024, and it's now saved to that board. Somebody said my new office, which I told you I just had some new bookshelves delivered, because I'm going to be doing kind of this sort of aesthetic in my room with the lights. Renee already has this in her room, so I love it. So if you're on my coffee chats, you're going to see more of this. So let's say we decide this image does 2 things: reading more as well as organizing my office. But we could also search for writer office aesthetic. I like to put the word aesthetic behind it, but you could also say vibe, like office vibes or whatever it is. And it's going to pull up images that are different for me based on what I've looked at previously and pinned previously. But let's say, ooh, I love this image of this typewriter, so I'm going to download that one. Let's say we want like a desk, right? Let's put chic office. It will often suggest things to you. So let's say, oh, I love this idea of this like very neutral office. So we can download that as well. Now, one other thing that you might consider when you are putting together your Pinterest board or your images, in the way that I'm searching, you can do this on any image site or just on Google. I just find Pinterest to be very vibey, and you get lots of images that are kind of more curated. So I think that one thing that is helpful too is when you're looking at images, if you want your whole board to have an aesthetic to it, to try to pick out things that are similar in color. So for example, if I know I already saved sort of red wine in the kitchen cooking and this sort of pink typewriter, I might start looking for images of offices that will kind of match that vibe, just so my board has a cohesiveness to it. Like sometimes I have done boards that are just all purple aesthetic. Like if I'm going to pick out a picture of somebody walking or they have like weights with them, it's going to be purple so that it matches like my purple desk and stuff like that. So if you're into making it a specific color, you can do that as well. Okay, so back to our list. So another thing is self-care and peace. So let's do peaceful self-care vibes and see what comes up. So I don't know how well you can hear my clicky clacky keyboard, but I love it. Okay, so like immediately, I love this one. So if you want to remember to save them, because it can be really hard to find them again, make one single board and save everything there before you download it or as you download it. So I've got like a meditation sort of space. If you have a picture of yourself meditating or your own meditation room that you want to spend more time in, you could do that. Like if you often take baths and you have a picture of your bathroom, you could put something like that in there. So there's lots of different images here of sort of self-care. Now here's self-care and she's in the bath. So like that one could definitely be a good one. And then let's see, Toyota Camry. So that should be really easy to find a photo of. And then so this is kind of, for me, it's sort of the fun play part of it, just like daydreaming. You couldn't find anything for a Toyota Camry? That doesn't seem right. Did I misspell it? Probably. All right. So Toyota Camry, you can basically find the color that you love. You can find, if you live in snow, you can find a snow one. If you find one that has like the exact trim you like, there's a pink one. You can get one from the back if you live in a city, like any of these. I'm just going to pick this one here. And I'm going to save it to my Hardee's one, but you could also do like an interior shot. You could do multiple. So let's save the interior as well. And then let's see. Oh, well, reading more. So we kind of already have some that do that. So that might be enough images. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my profile and I'm going to click on Hardee's because I did not download all of these images. And now I have to figure out how. Okay, so you have to click into the image to click download. I just want to make sure I'm grabbing them all. And again, my little note to everyone. I do not own these images. So if you do not own images such as this, do not use them professionally or claim to own them, post them to your Instagram, etc., because they do not belong to you. But for your personal use, it's all good. All right, so I'm going in, I'm clicking on each image and I'm just clicking download and I'm saving them all to a folder, which makes my life easier. I don't know if I saved that one or not. Of course, this is Martha Stewart. I think I did download that one. Okay. So now I have a bunch of images. Now let me show you also, this is Unsplash. So you could have done the same thing. Now I don't know if it'll have a Camry on here or not, but it might. So here's examples. You've got the Toyota. That might be a cool image. So you could download that as well. And it'll tell you here that all of the images on Unsplash you can use for free, whereas Pinterest is not the same way. So these are like free license to use, but they do prefer, if you're going to post it on social media, that you do shout out the person who created it. So if you want to save these and be on the up and up and use these on your social media, you would also want to copy who these people are or add these also to a folder for yourself so that you can go back and tag them in your photo if you post it. But there's like a cool Toyota image. You could also say like reading aesthetic and see what comes up. So here's like a cool picture. I'm sorry, that one made me laugh. So you're going to get all kinds of different images here. You just, with Unsplash, you might have images you wouldn't find on Pinterest, but they also might not be as many to choose from. So this one, for example, looks like maybe is a paid one. It's got a locked thing, so you might have to pay to use that image. But we could potentially, I'm not putting this image on the vision board. This one would be fine to use, for example. So you could use Unsplash, Pexels. There's, I think Pixabay is another one. There's lots of them. Or you can just do it in Canva. And you can see I've hidden some images here that are, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to start revealing covers and stuff unintentionally on my live stream. All right, is everybody doing okay? I'm just going to kind of check and see if there's any comments that I need to make sure of, because I can't see you guys when I'm on those other screens. Hey, Rebecca, you should put a Tesla on your board. So I put a Tesla on my vision board for 2023, and now there's a Tesla in my garage. So sometimes those things are so fun to see come true. So highly recommend. Okay, the ones listed as Unsplash Plus in the corner are paywalled, but it didn't look like it was that expensive. But if you want to just use free ones, yeah, Pixabay. I don't think I linked that one down below. I do have secrets, some secrets. Okay, so Canva. If you have never used Canva before, it is an author's dream, an entrepreneur's dreams. Oh, you haven't been to live stream. So this one's probably going to be an hour and a half or 2 hours. We're just going to go until we're done. But it's going to be on replay. So you can always just say like, okay, jump to the hour and watch the rest of it if you have to go. So Canva is super, super helpful. I have the yearly paid option thing because Renee and I both use it together, and it's great for teams because you can share stuff. Melinda Marie Alexander, I just signed books to you today. I will send those out to you tomorrow. I got all the next set of books all got signed. So Canva is incredible. And if you want an easy way to make vision boards, Canva is your best friend. And I'm going to show you. Now, we're going to go over here to this Heart Breathing's YouTube description. You'll find this just below this video. Click see more or something like that, and you'll find it. I have several examples of vision board templates in Canva. I did not create these first ones. These are just ones that are in Canva. Now you could, when you're on the home screen up here where you can just search templates, you can search vision board and it's going to bring up vision board templates. And some of them are going to be desktop. Some of them are going to be, collage versions. Some of them will be like Polaroid versions. There's so many choices. If you prefer words, so you could do a vision board that's more of a mind map or like well-being or other things like this. And all you have to do is click customize this template. Is it showing? I just want to make sure it's showing that. Yeah, it is. You click customize this template and then you can change this. You can change the colors, you can change the words, and you can change all of this kind of stuff. So if you prefer words on yours, you can do that. You've got this kind of vision board where you can have just your goals. So very minimal, and you could put an image on this, or you could just put words. So there's like literally options are unlimited. I went through and chose a few that are desktop, meaning if you want to put them on your laptop desktop or your computer desktop. Poster size, which are like taller than they are wide, that goes well with like an iPad wallpaper, or I have phone wallpapers. So let's just start with a phone wallpaper. I'm just going to grab this one in the back or in the bottom. So if you wanted to, you can just click on any of these and it's going to bring up the template. And all you have to do is click customize this template. And it's going to bring up this template where it's like your own copy of this template. And what is very, very cool, now that you've done the work of picking out your own images, is all you have to do is take the images you just grabbed from Pinterest or wherever you downloaded them, put them into Canva, and then drag and drop them. You can also see that when I bring up this example, over on this left-hand side, if I click templates, it's giving me more. So if you clicked on this one and you're like, that's not my favorite, I want something that isn't so chaotic, I want something more uniform, you could just scroll down here and see if you find one that has more square images. So let's say, okay, this one maybe speaks to you a little more because it's just more uniform in terms of the size of the images or whatever. So let's use this one. So you go into uploads, you'll see my little family pictures here and other things. And all I'm going to do is click upload files, and it's going to take me out to my downloads. And I'm going to click on the folder that I made, and I'm going to select all those images and click open. And it's going to import all of those images that we just saved from Pinterest into Canva. Hopefully this is showing up. It takes just a minute, and you can see on the side that they're loading. So as you see that little loading button, you can see that it's grabbing them. So now all you have to do, and this is so easy if you've never used this before, all you have to do is take the image, just hover your mouse over it and literally drag it over and pop it in. And it's going to replace the image. So I've got if I wanted to put these kind of a little bit more in order, so I've got my office. So I'm going to pick another office image and put it right here at the top. And then I can take my Toyota Camry image, and let's see, I'm going to put it right here. And then I had a different Toyota. So let's grab this Toyota and put it next door. Then we've got our reading we can put up here. And if you don't like where the image like it's going to auto position and resize this image. So if you don't like where it did, you can double click on it and you can move this image to the side. Like if you really wanted that candle to be in there, you just double click it. If you want it to be bigger, you just pull it out and then you just click away from it. And now it's an image on your vision board. So I could put this reading one on here and we can put this meditation. There's already that yoga. So that's kind of matches. Then we have like our new office space here. And then we have cooking at home. So we've got our little wine here. There was another Toyota image here. So we'll just kind of put that at the bottom. We've got our home is getting organized. And then let's see what else. We have 2 more spaces on here. And I think that was all the main images that I saved. So if I know I've got, let's say I'm looking at it now and I'm like, okay, this is all a lot of kind of brown. And then I just have these 2 pops of color. And maybe I don't really love that I want it to be all more neutral. So then what I can do is I can go into elements here and I can just search elements. And so I'm going to search for pantry. And when it's going to bring up graphics, videos, and other things, but I want a photo. So I'm going to click see all. And now I can look through these images of a pantry and I can find one that's maybe a little bit more neutral to represent my organized home. So I can grab this one. Now you'll see some of them, a lot of them have this little crown image. That means Canva Pro, which means you can only use those images if you have the Canva Pro that you're paying for. If you're not paying for Canva Pro, you'll need to look for these images like this one up here, a few of these that don't have the crown. So let's try to pick one of those. So this one with the girl on it, that is not Canva Pro. So I can put this here and I can kind of take her out of it a little bit. So that is maybe a little bit more aesthetic, matching my vibe here. So let's say I want a typewriter too, that is more aesthetic, like matches my more neutral color palette here. So I could just kind of scroll down and find one like this one maybe is a little bit more in line with the vibe. So that is basically how you can create a vision board. Obviously, you don't necessarily need for it all to have an aesthetic appeal. If brown images or this more neutral aesthetic doesn't appeal to you, you can go ahead and change out all of these to something a little bit more colorful and they don't have to match. But we have 2 more images here, 2 more spaces. So let's go a little bit more. Let's go organize the living room, because we want to organize our house and we want it to be nice and clean. So we can just pull another image of, sometimes it gets a little tricky. If I held it like this, it's going to replace the whole thing as a background image, which is not what we want to do. So we want to just get it hovered right over that one image and drag and drop it. And then we can kind of move it around to show the plants or to show the couch a little bit more. And then let's go back to self-care a little bit more. And here's just kind of like a little bathroom self-care image. Then I can go in and double click on this text. And instead of saying, what do you dream about? I could put 2024 and just leave it at that. I could put my life in 2024. You could put an affirmation in here, like my life is abundant. If you had a word for the year, then you could put that in here. So let's say your word for the year was peace, then you can put that in here and you can actually just make it bigger if you wanted. And there's all kinds of things that you can do with the text in Canva. So how easy is that to make a vision board? Yes, there is a way to do this freestyle. I will show you in just a second. If we click on the filter button, will it let us only see the free options? Maybe, let me check. All right, so we have photos. We click on filter. Yep, so you can just click free. That is awesome. So if you just click free, then it will show you. That was a great suggestion. So if you don't have Canva Pro, then you can just click the filter button up here at the top and click only free images, and that'll give you the ones that you can use. And these images in Canva, as far as I know, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, are able to be used like on your Instagram and other things. Like you can share these on social media. You don't have to have the rights to them like you would with Pinterest images. But this kind of gives you an opportunity to go through and tweak your vision board, make it look the way that you want it to. Now, Jenny says, is there a way to do this freestyle? So one thing obviously is any of the templates. Now this template is a phone wallpaper. So when we're done with this, you can use it as your phone wallpaper. And all you do is go up here to share and then click download. And you can do it as a JPEG or a PNG. And then you can get it to whatever size you want it to be and click download. And then you can email it to yourself or whatever, and you can, or download it directly on your phone, and you can set it as your background wallpaper. If you wanted this to be a desktop, there's a few things that you can do. If you have Canva Pro, you can click magic switch here and you can change this in terms of the sizing. I don't know if desktop wallpaper will be one, but it probably is. Yeah. So I can click desktop wallpaper and click continue. And then I can copy and resize this exact design. And sometimes this is a little bit wonky, so you'll see what it's going to do. It's going to make it where it's just the center of the image, right? So like not ideal, but you could do it this way. And if you wanted to, you could go in and you could add some shapes. So you could add this like rounded square. I'll just kind of show you. And let's say we're going to pull in some colors. So you click on the color here and you can pull in a color that comes from one of these images. Ooh, that's pretty. And you can make a couple of these, make one longer. So now you can have like your icons. So you could put all your social media stuff here. You could put your other icons here. And then what you could do is you could also come over here and put a quote or something. Actually, I think I'll delete that part and we'll just do text, and we can add a text box. And let's say we're just going to put 2024 is going to be my year. Just making it simple. And you can go in here and choose a font that you love. And let's see. I know I like the Glacial Indifference one. So we'll grab that and I'm going to make it bigger. And this can now be your desktop wallpaper. And it's just as easy as that. And then you just save it. And so then you would have the one as your phone and one as your desktop on your computer. And then you could save it. If you don't have the magic switch, if you don't have Canva Pro, then what you could do is come back out to the Heart Breathings ones, or you could just search for desktop wallpaper vision board and you could find one that you like and you could remake another vision board with your images. So let me show you how to do that. And then we'll show you the freestyle one. So all you do when you click on it is say, customize this template. I'm going to come back over and make sure I'm still good. Everybody can still see me. Okay. All right. So you can change, like, even if you're like, okay, I like the arrangement of images, but I don't like the colors at all. I want this to be more like my brand colors or whatever. Then you can just go in here and you can click on any box and then click on the color and you can change it. So I want it to all be pink. I can change it to different colors. You can completely change and alter the mood of any of these templates. But I feel like this color palette is kind of going to match our uploads that we did. So you can take those same images that you just used and you can drag and drop them into this new vision board. So we've got those same images, but now we're going to put them here. And sometimes you might be like, oh, I really wish that one was a little bit bigger. So you can go in and you can make these bigger if you want. So you can always alter any of the sizes of these images. Canva Pro. I mean, well, any Canva, you can do this. We got our Toyota, we got our meditating. And again, if you want to be able to share this more with other people, then you would just want to choose images that you didn't grab from Pinterest like I did. You would want to grab your images from some of these already match, like the book and the self-care if you're a knitter. And then you can go back out to Elements and it will show you your recently used ones. So if you wanted to grab some of those that we had recently used, like the typewriter and stuff like that, you could grab those. And that's how fast, like once you have your images, it's that fast to create a new one. And then all you have to do is come here and change your quotes. So you could change this to, I can't wait to buy my new Camry. Live in the moment might be a good one. Happiness. You could put your other words or quotes here and say, I believe in the power of my dreams, and change these out. And once you have it saved in Canva, so you can come up here and change this now to your 2024 desktop wallpaper. And so now it will be saved in your Canva, and you can always come back and change it. So let's say later you buy the Camry, and so maybe you want to leave the Camry, or you want to replace this image with your Camry, you standing next to the Camry, and then you don't really want this one or this one on there anymore. You could say, okay, instead of that, now let me put my new goal on there, which is to I'm trying to think of another potential goal. Or you could double down on self-care stuff if you wanted to. Or let's say your next goal is to visit a lake house. So you could come in here and you could replace those Toyota images with images of a lake. And now you've got your next goal is up on your board, and you can just switch out your desktop wallpaper mood. I don't know. My brain went blank. Mood, peaceful. I don't know. But the rest of them I think are good. So that is easy peasy ways to make a vision board, and you can search in Canva for any of these. Now, if you want to make your own vision board, freestyle, you don't want to use any template or anything, you can still use Canva for this. So what we want to do is you'll click create a design, and let's say we're going to do phone wallpaper. So you just type in the size, and you can do phone wallpaper, desktop wallpaper, or you could, if you want to make an 8.5 by 11 sheet that you're going to print and put in your planner, you could just do, instead of saying phone wallpaper, you could come out here and say custom size, and you could change this to inches, and you could do 8.5 by 11. So let's do that. I'm just going to peek over and make sure there's no comments. Blank page. Yeah, I'll show you. I need to change my vision board to include a lake house and a Camry. I could share it with you. Today is my superpower, reminding me to live in the moment. I love that, Joella. That is beautiful. Okay, so we've got our vision board blank here, and this is just an 8.5 by 11, but you could do any pre-size or anything like that. And again, you can search in the templates here once you have your size, and you can find templates. You can also come into elements, and you can type in frames, and that is gonna, if you click see all, it's gonna give you a lot of picture frames here. And if you scroll further down, it's gonna give you arrangements of pictures, letters, all kinds of things. And these are frames that you can just drag and drop your own photos into. Try to find an example of one that looks kind of vision boardy, but maybe they're super far down. I don't know if I can put 9 photo frames. I'm not sure if it'll do that. Okay, so let's say you wanted to do a bunch of circles on your vision board. You can just add these frames on here like that, and then you could put a word at the top. And then these frames function the same way as those templates did, where you can just go into your uploads and just drag and drop the circles. Or if you want to totally freestyle, then you can just start adding images and resizing them. So you just click on the image, and it will put it on your canvas. So then you can make it smaller, etc. So let's say I want to put in here, I'm going to grab this cherry. So I'm going to click on the cherry bomb. But let's say I want to do something similar. This one might actually not work great. Let me use, trying to think, maybe the Camry will work better. So I want to put this Camry on here, but I don't want all that background. So this is where you can do similar to what I was showing you with the other photos, that I can click on this and I can click edit photo. Okay, so this is going to be a paid version only. If you have the paid version, you can click BG remover, and it's going to remove the background and just give me the Camry, which is very cool. If you don't have the background remover, then you can, if you have an Android or an iPad or an Apple phone, I think you can use that to take the background away and then import that image in as a PNG with a clear background, but you might have to test it. So we've got our meditation. Then you can come back out and say, I'm just going to click and we're going to put this over here in the corner. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could create sort of for yourself your own sort of quadrants where you say, I'm going to put my office and my house space over here in this corner. And then I'm going to put my self-care down in this corner down here. And you can make for yourself little quadrants. And you can also, if you go into elements, you can search for like background. So if you like the look of marble, you could say, I want a marble background. I'm in the frames, marble background. And you can just drag and drop this into the back and it's going to put it as the background. And then all you have to do is click position and send it to the background of your image. So now you've got the marble and you can actually click on this and click the lock. So that way it's not moving every time you move an image. That's kind of not the most beautiful marble, but you could work with it. But there's lots of different kinds of backgrounds that you can put on it. So if you wanted to do, like if you were doing a really blinged out one, you could do like a gold sparkle background and put that as your entire, or like all these stars or whatever, that could be your background. And then you work off of that so that you don't have to fill in all the space of your vision board. And then you can come to uploads over here and keep adding in your images that you grabbed and say, okay, I'm going to put my cooking up here. And you can crop these by like just bringing them down or up. You can make them fit however you want, but you can totally freestyle it that way. Or if you, like I had mentioned before, if you had like an iPad or whatever, you can use your Apple Pencil to do your vision board in GoodNotes as well. So those are kind of my examples. I'm trying to think what else. I think that's everything that I kind of had written down for the tutorial type stuff. So we're about an hour and a half in, which I figured it would probably be over an hour. I hope this was really helpful. I love making vision boards, like I said, and I love making them even for my stories. So just to give you kind of an example here, let's see. This one is not hyperlinked. There it goes. Okay. So this one is an example of a mirror of shadows. And so I don't know if you guys have just view edits. Look, there's 20 people on it. This is just images that I grabbed again off of Pinterest and then printed it out and put it in here. And so what you can do is, it doesn't look like I made it as a shareable template. So I'm trying to think, might want to change that to this template link. Dun, 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 dun. So I can replace that if you guys don't have a way to alter it. Sometimes you can just go into file and then click make a copy, and that way it'll give you your own copy of it. But I think I might have shared that incorrectly. But I like to do stuff like this, and then you can search in here for any of your own other elements. So this is like romance or mirrors or fantasy. And there's just all kinds of images that you might be able to find here. So like, let's say you had a fantasy world that had some of these similar colors and you wanted to drag and drop this here. That's all you have to do is just drag these images from your own searches or your own Pinterest or whatever and put them into this template. And that's how you do it. I can replace that link though, but if you are working off of the old link, then you just click file. Oh, I went home, sorry. Click file and then make a copy, and then you can use your own because I think I just have it set to view only. So I apologize for that. But you can make your own story aesthetics. You can make each individual goal for Q1 has its own vision board. You can make a vision board just for your office remodel, just for your garden, whatever it may be, or for your whole life, right? Your whole goals for everything. And you can see for me, I don't always add a lot of images to mine or a lot of words to mine. Like you can see on this example, they have multiple, but sometimes I will pull quotes from Pinterest. So let me show you an example. And again, these aren't mine, so I don't share them like professionally. They're just shared in my own individual. So like, for example, what I want is already mine. I could also use this text in Pinterest if I wanted to, or I can download this image and then I can upload it and put it onto my vision board. So let's say I wanted to add it to this vision board. I would just go to uploads, upload file, and then I'm going to choose that. Like, which one is it? Where did you save? All right. You would think it would be the most recent one, but I don't have them organized. Oh, no. Sorry, guys. There it is. So I would just select it, and now it's going to show up on my images over here. I click it, and it's going to bring it in over here, and I can just add it on top. And if I want to take that moon away, I can just drag down until it's like this, and then I can just set it on top of all these other images. Or if I wanted it to take the place of an image, I just drag and drop it and it will just pop in. But if you don't want it to pop in, you just click the image and it will just show up like that. So does anybody have any questions about images, about how to decide what your goals are? Anything else? Yeah, Pexels I think is linked down below for you, but I did not link Pixabay, which I think is another one. Yeah, playing on Canva and Pinterest for the next few days. I'll tell you something that has been really, really powerful in my own life, and that is, this is one, I mean, how much of a, it's not a waste of money by any means, but it's like the number one thing I use my iPad for is vision boards. And Pinterest and GoodNotes. It's like it's capable of doing so much more than this, but this is main things I use it for. But it has been so powerful in my own life just to spend, instead of like scrolling Instagram and looking at other people's lives, to take 5 or 10 minutes before I go to bed at night and just scroll through Pinterest images or Canva images and really think about trying to find images that evoke how I want to feel in my own life, the things I want to accomplish in my own life. And sometimes I'll go in to Pinterest or Canva or wherever with a specific thing. Like you saw that we made a list and then we went and created a vision board just super fast. So I'll do that sometimes where I'll say, tonight, I'm going to look for a really good image of someone walking out in nature because I really want to be walking every day in 2024 as often as possible. And so I'm going to go and specifically look for an image of someone walking or someone in nature or a hiking trail or someone in an outfit similar to the type of vibe I want to have or whatever that evokes the emotion of peace in nature, excitement in nature, the things that I love, the way I want to feel. Maybe because I want to walk a lot with my husband, I would look for a photo of a couple walking together or a couple holding hands or, anything like that. And I would look for that image and I would save it to my Pinterest board. And I'm not going to go and make a vision board tonight, but by the time I'm done with the end of the week of looking for images throughout the week, I've got enough for a new vision board, and I like to go in and create them. And then, like I said, if you didn't see it before, I will print these out and put them in my planner so that I can see them almost on a daily basis. I think that just like messed up my lighting a little bit. It will also be something that I will put as my, you can see it on here. It's my wallpaper background for my iPad, and it will be usually the wallpaper background on my phone. Sometimes I will also print it out and put it up on my mirror in my bathroom, because these kind of things are just anchors for me. They're reminders everywhere I go to just continue to dream to continue to believe in myself, to continue to stay focused on the things that really matter to me. We live in a world where it is just so much noise, and it is so easy to get distracted by what other people are accomplishing and to get kind of off of our own path of this is who I wanted to be. This was what I wanted to be doing. And a vision board is just a way of kind of reminding ourselves of like, this is who I want to be and this is how I want to feel, and kind of bringing that into our everyday life. Your iPad is massive. This was my NaNoWriMo win for last year is I switched from the 11-inch or whatever iPad to the 12.5-inch iPad, and it is so massive. There's times when I regret it because it doesn't fit in any of my like all of these little keyboards that I had bought for it. It's too big. It's too big. And there are days that I regret it. So my Pinterest is, if you want to look at my random stuff, is Sarah Maria. If you search for Sarra Maria, I think that'll go. Is my Pinterest. I think I do have a business Pinterest and a Heart Breathings Pinterest, but that's just not the ones that I go. How are all of your iPad icons pink? So that is a rabbit hole you can also go down. I'll just show you real quick. Let me stop that screen. We'll share. It makes them way pinker than they actually are. Like if you see them here, they're like more mauve, but it's just the way the screen share works. So there is a way to, and now I'm going to forget how to do it, but there's the Shortcuts app. I think it's called. Yeah. So this app right here, Shortcuts, you can actually create a shortcut for anything like Notion, YouTube, any of that. And when you go to create the shortcut, you can upload an image of what you want that shortcut to look like. It is very time consuming, but if you go to Etsy and you search for iPad icons or iPad shortcuts, there are like entire aesthetics that you can buy, and then you can change your entire desktop to be all cohesive like this. It is very it takes stay away from shortcuts. It takes a very long time to do it, I will say, but it is fun and I love it. And I did this like, I don't know, a year and a half ago, and it's still on there, or a year ago, probably about a year ago when I got my iPad. I think I've switched it once in between, but I find it very helpful to have my vision boards front and center where I can really see them. And I've actually thought before about putting a photo of my vision board above my Kanban boards, because I think that would be super fun to do as well, just as a reminder of what I'm working for. Thank you, Maria, for that. I don't think my Pinterest is private, but it might be. You can see if you can see it or not. I don't know. I do not know. It's definitely a rabbit hole to go down. Okay, so that's it. That's our vision board. If you make a vision board and you want to share it in your share it in the Heart Breathings Writing community on Facebook, in our Discord server if you want to share it over there. If you share it on your Instagram or anything, tag me or let me know, send it to me in DMs because I would really love to see it. You can't see it. Yeah, it might be private. I don't know. I can try to share a link for anybody that wants to see it. It's just a bunch of random stuff. My Pinterest is like so many boards. I don't even know how many boards are on here. It's a lot of boards. Like it's a lot. I spend a lot of time on Pinterest. I did, but here I will tell you the power of vision board is that when I was in Houston a little over a year ago during there it is. When I was in Houston a little over a year ago doing NaNoWriMo, and we had lost our house and we were traveling and all these things were happening, we hit Texas and I thought, I'm so ready to settle down and this might be the place for us. And I realized I had like 10 Pinterest boards that were all inspiration for that house that we had lost, like raised houses by the beach, coastal aesthetic, all this stuff. And that was no longer my dream anymore. And I thought, okay, I'm going to clear out the clutter in my vision boards and my Pinterest. I'm going to just clear out and delete all of those boards and I'm going to start a brand new board of the type of house that I want, whether it's in Texas or wherever it happens to be. And I made a vision board in Pinterest and then also in on my iPad of the exact house that I wanted. And if you ever, some of you know because you come to my Friday coffee chats, which by the way, I do a coffee chat on my Sarra Cannon channel every Friday. So if you've enjoyed this, you might enjoy coming and hanging out with us tomorrow. But from the shiplap to the 2 stories to the wooden beams and the high ceilings to the perfectly like almost exact same kitchen to having an office with stacked windows to these built-ins, like every tiny little detail to a gaming room that fits all 4 of our desks. It's like every single thing came true in that house. Even the exterior of the house and the type of brick was all on my Pinterest board. And I feel like whether you want to believe that it's prayer or something more universe manifestation, I know we all have different beliefs, and I respect anyone else's beliefs. But I personally believe that whether you think it's magic or not, there is some kind of power in deciding what it is you want and getting clear on what you dream is possible for your life, and then bringing it into your awareness, whether it be through visual or auditory or through text or anything like that. It just is like an open invitation to your mind to start looking for those opportunities, to start looking for the path that's going to lead you to where you want to be, to start opening doors and to start seeing things in a new way. We all have in our minds a reticular activating system, which is like a built-in filter. And so when you are, looking around at the world, your mind can't take in every single thing that exists. It would be too overwhelming. And so what our brains do is it filters things out. But then once we set our mind on something and we say, but this is the life that I want, your brain, that RAS in your brain, you might have heard Mel Robbins talking about this before. That reticular activating system will tell your brain, like, these are important things to me. And so now you'll start noticing them more, and you'll start saying, oh my gosh, somebody just mentioned that book to me yesterday. And now it's been like 5 times somebody's mentioned that book, because it was already in your brain, and your brain filter is saying, I'm going to remind you every single time this comes up. And I think that is part of what happens with your vision board, is that you put these images down: lake house, pool, organized home. And so now you start seeing opportunities all around you of like, oh, I could put this here. I could organize this. Oh, somebody on Facebook Marketplace is selling this big organizer. Like, there's just going to be just incredible opportunities that will come up if you give yourself permission to just dream of it. I truly believe in it. And it's the perfect time to do it. We just had a full moon. We're moving into the new year. It's going to be a magical time to do it. If you are interested in this kind of thing, a little bit more woo-woo than what we talk about usually on Heart Breathings, I do also have a mini course called Manifest Your Best Year, where we talk about vision boards and other type of rituals to do at the beginning of the year. That is on my heartbreathings at .teachable.com. If you want to go check that out, it's $47. And we're doing a live stream on New Year's Eve coming up. And so that'll be coming on Sunday, which is going to be super fun. And then for anybody who is interested in future planning, I have finally named my class. So we'll be doing a mini class in January called Your Path Forward. And it's going to be all about creating a game board strategy, which is sort of equivalent to a long-term business plan. But it's more of sort of organizing where you want to go. Whereas HB90 is all about 1 quarter. Your Path Forward is all about the long-term path, the eagle eye view. That is also coming up in January. So it's going to be super fun. Publish and Thrive coming up. Lots of fun things. My New Year reset video. Oh, I love New Year's. It's going to be so fun. Thank you, Angela. So there's where you can find that class if you want to come join us. One question that we have here: how many things should you put on your vision board? Is there a number that's too many? No, I don't think so. Unless it's just, I would use your intuition, because if you feel overwhelmed when you look at like mine that has like all this chaos of images. There's probably like 15 images on there, and that makes you feel like I can't even tell where to look because there's too much. Then I would go more simple. If you tend to like minimal design, I would try to find one of those designs that just has a handful of images, like one image. Like when we did our little list, we had like 5. So if you have a list of 5 things you're focused on, I would just pick one image. But I don't think that you can ever have too much if it doesn't overwhelm you. So just fully base it on your own intuition and what feels good to you. And if you're starting to be like, this is too cluttered, my eyes don't even know where to look, then scale it back a little bit. But I don't think there's really any rule in terms of it. I absolutely plaster mine in images. I do too. I like it. 21 images already with room to grow. I love it. I love it. All right. Any other questions before we go? Write the vision and make it plain. Psychological science to back up writing visions down. Yes, I totally agree. Make it clear what you want. And that's why we kind of start everything in my courses. But I am futuristic. I'm number one futuristic. And so I know that not everybody is like that. And so for some of you, thinking that far out in advance in your future isn't helpful for you. So you could just do a monthly vision board if you wanted to, or whatever. There's no rules, no judgment. 4 images for Michelle. Yeah, no rules. Make it how you want it to be. All right, that is it for our vision board party 2024. Coffee chat tomorrow on my Sarra Cannon YouTube channel. If anybody wants to come join us, same time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. And that one only lasts an hour, but we are going to talk about vision plans for goals and plans for 2021. I almost said 2024. We'll be talking about 6 months for life over there. And then, the path forward, we were hoping to open that class today, but I just didn't get it done in time because my sweet little Evie has been sick. And so we've been just kind of loving on her extra. But that class will open soon, and I'll send out an email when that goes up. And then if you want to join Manifest Your Best Year, it's open now, and we'll have a Sunday live stream, which is going to be fun. All right. Thank you all so much for being here. I love you all so much. And I'm wishing everyone that all your dreams come true in 2024. It's going to be a great year, and it'll be a great year here on Heart Breathings. All right. All my love to you. Happy New Year. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, everybody.